Washington, D.C., April 14, 1865. A night for celebration, a night that would be remembered for generations to come. The Civil War, after 4 long and grueling years, was finally over. The nation was ready to heal and move forward. The Confederacy had surrendered just 5 days prior, marking a pivotal moment in American history. President Abraham Lincoln, the man who had guided the nation through its darkest hour, sought a moment of respite at Ford's Theater, hoping to find some peace. The play Our American Cousin, a light-hearted comedy that promised an evening of laughter. In attendance, President Lincoln, his wife Mary Todd Lincoln, and their guests, Major Henry Rathbone and Clara Harris, all looking forward to a pleasant evening. The air was thick with the hope of a reunited nation, a nation eager to rebuild and move past the scars of war. Little did anyone know, tragedy lurked in the shadows, waiting to strike when least expected. The president and his party occupied a private box overlooking the stage, a vantage point that offered both privacy and a perfect view. Laughter and applause filled the theater, a stark contrast to the horrors of war that had gripped the nation just days before. The audience was lost in the joy of the performance, but the celebratory mood would be shattered in an instant. At approximately 10:15 p.m., a figure emerged from the shadows, his eyes fixed on the presidential box, his intentions dark and foreboding. His name, John Wilkes Booth, a renowned actor and Confederate sympathizer, known for his dramatic flair both on and off the stage. In his heart burned a rage that would forever alter the course of American history, a rage that would lead to an unthinkable act. John Wilkes Booth, a man of the stage, harbored a dark secret, one that would forever change the course of American history. A staunch supporter of the Confederacy, he saw Lincoln as a tyrant, responsible for the South's defeat and the abolition of slavery. To Booth, Lincoln was the embodiment of all that had gone wrong for the South. The end of the war, instead of bringing him solace, ignited a firestorm of resentment and anger. The devastation and loss only deepened his resolve. Booth, fueled by his twisted ideology, concocted a desperate plan. He believed that by taking drastic action, he could alter the course of history. He would avenge the South by striking at the heart of the Union, aiming to dismantle the leadership that had brought about its downfall. His target, President Abraham Lincoln, the man he held responsible for the Confederacy's suffering. Booth, familiar with the layout of Ford's Theater, saw an opportunity in the president's attendance that fateful night. He knew the theater well, having performed there many times. He envisioned a grand act of defiance, a blow against the Union he so despised. This act, he believed, would rally the South once more. Driven by a misguided sense of patriotism and fueled by hatred, Booth set his deadly plan in motion. His determination was unwavering. He gathered a group of co-conspirators, each blinded by their own prejudices and loyalties. Together, they plotted a coordinated attack. Their target, not just the president, but also Secretary of State William Seward and Vice President Andrew Johnson. They aimed to cripple the Union government in one fell swoop. The play continued, oblivious to the sinister plot unfolding backstage. Booth, his heart pounding in his chest, saw his moment. He slipped into the presidential box, unnoticed and unheard. Lincoln, his eyes fixed on the stage, was unaware of the danger lurking just feet away. Booth raised his .44 caliber Derringer pistol, its cold steel glinting in the dimly lit box. A deafening blast echoed through the theater, silencing the laughter and applause. Lincoln slumped forward, a crimson stain blooming on the back of his head. Chaos erupted in the theater as the audience, initially stunned into silence, realized the gravity of what had transpired. Screams pierced the air as people scrambled for the exits. Booth, his face contorted in a mixture of triumph and madness, leaped from the box to the stage below, shouting, "Sic semper tyrannis!" Thus always to tyrants. He landed awkwardly, breaking his leg, but managed to escape into the night. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, was more than just a politician. He was a guiding light during one of the darkest times in American history. He was a symbol of unity, resilience, and hope, embodying the spirit of a nation striving for a better future. Born in a modest log cabin in Kentucky, he rose from these humble beginnings to become one of the most consequential figures in American history, shaping the destiny of a nation. He led the nation through its greatest crisis, preserving the Union and abolishing slavery, a monumental achievement that changed the course of history. His Gettysburg Address, a masterpiece of eloquence and brevity, redefined the meaning of freedom and equality for a nation torn apart by civil war. Lincoln's assassination sent shockwaves throughout the nation and the world, leaving an indelible mark on history. The man who had held the country together, who had so eloquently articulated the principles of liberty and equality, was gone, leaving a nation in profound sorrow. The nation plunged into mourning, draped in black as it grappled with the loss of its leader, a man who had become a beacon of hope. Newspapers across the country ran headlines proclaiming the president's death, their words heavy with grief and disbelief, capturing the collective sorrow of a nation. The assassination marked the end of an era, leaving a void in the nation's soul, a void that would be felt for generations to come.